Okay. The situation was my roommate, not roommate, sorry, the person I lived next to, he was working at UPS as a P&D driver. I, keep in mind, I didn't have a car, and he was like, why don't you do the job at UPS, and I'll take you to work, and then you can wait for your shift in my car, and then we can go it from there. I still, I still to this day will. Okay, hold on. Okay, I still to this day will not forget how much my mom was so excited. It was $8 an hour, folks. I had this white shirt, white stiff cardboard shirt that I got J Crew. I got J Crew, I think, and I what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and I wore that for the interview. And I remember where the interview was. It was across the street from High Street, and there's a place to cut your hair. There was a sub shop, I think, and there was an ice cream place. Actually, there's an ice cream place. My sister Stacy actually worked there 1,000 years ago before this. But so the job is unloading. Yes, I got the job. It's unloading. You have 45 minutes to unload a pup, which is 26 feet, and you have to get in the whole thing and then work it from the backside. Um, my friend Neil went through college doing this, but he came on as a sorter, which was different than an unloader. And I want to show you how I was unloading. The whole deal with UPS was you're in the union after 5 weeks, and you pay into dues. So then you're a union person, and then they got your back, quote unquote, Steamsters. And so I'm unloading. There's two instances of this. So I'm unloading, and I go to grab something about this big. I go to grab something about this big. Sorry about that. And it falls on my head. And I'm like, the thing was, you could have up to 80 pounds. And then after I left, I think they went up to 120 pounds. But I was working with this one guy, African American gentleman, and he was huge. And he was picking up, it looked like mini engines, like leaking oil all over him and everything. So that was the first set of cranium X rays that I needed to get done because I didn't know what happened. And if you get injured, you got to write it up, and then you got to go home and stuff like that. I forgot to tell you, I didn't start till like an hour, hour and a half after Rick started. So I would sleep in his car when it was really, really cold and turn on the car only when need be. Um, and then I would save some gas and I'd get a little warm, then I'd turn it back off. Then I turn it on, then I turn it back off. I did not have a car, and it was on the other side of town. I'm sure you're like, why did you get this job? You don't have a car, you don't have a car. It was the hourly rate was so good. Even my mom was bringing it up like 2 or 3 years later, no joke. And she's like, UPS was so good. They had such a good hourly rate. How much was that? Was that $8 an hour? And back then, $8 an hour was a lot of money. Um, I was working at work study in the library at $4.25, I think, or $4.75. Anyhow, that was the first thing of cranium X-rays, and I'm on my mom's insurance. I don't tell my mom anything, right? Whatever. All right, I'm good. So I think, right? You asked me about my grades. You haven't seen nothing yet, folks. Okay, so I'm in the bed of the truck, and you gotta pull up the flat, and then do the little thing, the slide that slides it, that keeps it up there, right? Keeps it up there. Okay, so I get in there and I'm moving, and it goes ooh, 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 like that. Just like you'd see in the cartoons. It goes ooh, 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 like that. It bounces off my head. This is within a 2 week span. My mom gets another order of all Cranium X Rays. First question: what in the hell is wrong with your head? What? She's like, what the fuck are you doing at work? And I'm like, well, mom, I had this box fall on me. It was really heavy, and then I had a flat fall on me. She's like, Kevin, Kevin, what? Once again, Kevin, what are you doing? Are you even focusing? And when you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be there at 7 o'clock to bust ass till like wait 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning to get there at 7 o'clock to start at 8 to work from 8 to 12, and then that was on Thursdays was my long day. I had labs, I had I had Hebrew, I had Russian lit, I had other things too. So those days I was basically a zombie. Your sleep never gets right again. When you work that kind of shift, you can never get your sleep right. Anybody who does that, everybody who does that, anyone that does that, respect them highly. They're in a different world than you and I, folks. They're in a different world. You're always constantly thinking, I gotta sleep, I gotta sleep, gotta sleep, gotta sleep, gotta sleep. All right, so, right, I'm there now 5 weeks, right? I'm almost gonna be a teamster. Brandon like Flynn, right? So I'm waiting in the car I'm waiting in the car to start a shift again. It's freezing cold. And I start his car, turn off his car, start his car, turn off his car. And I really didn't leave his car on that long because I didn't want to waste his gas. Because that's not kind of person I wanted to be. I wanted to show him that I could tough it out. It was black on black. It was red on red leather. It was a Buick Calais, I think a 4 door. And I was freezing my ass off, folks. I was freezing my ass off. There's no doubt. But when you get into the trailer, it could be 20 degree, minus 20 outside. You start busting ass, you're sweating. You are sweating. Okay, so here's the here's the crescendo, I guess you could say, of how it went down. I'm tired as you know what. I cannot think. I cannot eat. The sleep's not there. I'm totally mishmashed, and I got to break down a load of computer paper in 45 minutes. It's all computer paper. So it's all those things of paper. Just boom, 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 boom. All set up, right? The supervisor comes in and the walls are breaking down. I mean, not in a good way. You do not want to see your walls break down like this in a bad way, and especially in front of your manager or your supervisor, shift supervisor. So they're coming down, and he's like, Kevin, I don't think this is working out. I'm like, you think? And they're like, he's like, I think we're gonna have to let you go. And I'm like, wow, that's a surprise. I'm like, all right, I guess that's about it. See you later. Then I had to wait for Gary to get off his shift so I could go home. I had to wait in the break room. He's like, they let you go? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh man, what a shame. But then they called me back as a runner during the holiday, and that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool job. I was a runner. And they also called me back to try to wash their trucks, but at that time I was already at Safe Flight Auto Glass. No, at that time I was already working as a maintenance worker at Ohio State, as well as doing another job that I forgot right now. But that's my UPS story. My mom always mentioned, what about that $8 an hour job? That was so good. That was so good. I'm like, Mom, that was like 15 years ago. And she's like, oh, I guess it was. I guess it was. And she's like, what about you? I'm like, wow. But anyhow, after I left, they did a kind of thing where you could have anything up to 115 pounds in any kind of box. You still had to unload in 45 minutes. You had to bust ass. I got a humongous scar on my shin because I moved wrong, and and I was bleeding. But you keep busting ass, man. Keep busting ass. As long as you don't get any blood on the packages, you just keep busting ass. You got to put the labels up. Labels up. And it's like. You want to talk about a workout? Well, basically, it's more than a workout. It borders on slave labor, to be honest with you. For what we were doing back then, and maybe it is now too. Anybody who loads or unloads, I feel for you. God bless you guys. Have a very hard job, and got one in the can now. That's my working UPS story.